Of the Elvis story that I think is also one of the most amazing, and that is in 1958 when Elvis gets drafted and goes into the Army and goes away for about a year and a half and is gone from the States. He leaves in 58, middle of 58, comes back in March of 60, and throughout those months gone to Europe, he is still on the charts. He had gone into Nashville in early 58 in uniform and recorded songs that were released to radio stations throughout the next year and a half to keep him on the charts until he can get back. So that life in the Army was one that took Elvis from the spotlight and put him right there in the Army. And he became a part of normal life again, almost as much more as he would ever be again. And one of the families that he met, we have a representative of here now, and she's going to tell her family story. Janice Fadal. Janice, come on out. Nice to meet you in person. Yes, how are you? Good to see you. We have, I kind of set it up there for you. I didn't give away too much, I don't think, about the story. I said Elvis is drafted and goes off to boot camp and encounters your father, and actually had known your father.
Yes, he had known my father from before. My father was a disc jockey in Dallas, and Elvis, I believe, was on like a tour giving out his 45 singles to, to radio stations to promote his songs.
Yeah.
And Daddy met him, and right away knew that he was a very special performer. And Daddy became friends with him and said, if you're ever in Waco, Texas, we'd love to host you at my home. This was all in Dallas. He was working in Dallas at the time.
Let's bring up that first slide and we'll see Elvis in uniform.
Yeah.
And your dad. What do you think it was about your dad, Eddie, that bonded the two of them so closely? So quickly, really?
I think it was because my dad was a little bit older, and Elvis kind of looked up to him and trusted him. And he was a family man, so he felt like he was stable and had some amount of success in his life. And Elvis looked up to him, was my understanding at the time.
Yeah. And there's another image here. Let's go to this one. The one, this became a very famous photo that sometimes your dad's in it and sometimes he's kind of...
Yeah, Daddy remarked that the AP wire put this picture out but cut him out of it, and it was his very first picture ever taken with Elvis, and so he was pretty disappointed that they published it without him in there.
Where do you know where this was taken? Where was this?
This was in a little restaurant in Oak Lawn, Dallas. They had been shopping, and Elvis had just bought the hat and some shirts, and someone had called in and reported that Elvis was there, And so Elvis had gone in. He was having a bowl of chili and some saltine crackers, and a reporter just came in, and said, can I get your picture? So he got his picture right then and there. And then they made a little story about Elvis being, shopping on Oak Lawn.
Yeah. Now that was the Dallas years. By the time Elvis gets drafted, where is your family then?
We're in Waco.
In Waco, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. We were in Waco, and Elvis was stationed in Killeen, which is just about 40 or 50 miles from Waco, and he was at Fort Hood, and he was there for his basic training.
Right.
And he would do anything to get away from the base sometimes.
Yeah. Legally.
It was all cool. No, he liked to have downtime, because there were always people around him and trying to get something, even, in the Army. And so one day he shows up out of the blue during the week, and he has a little bandage on his finger, and he said he had gotten hurt in camp that morning, and he had to take the day off, so he He brought all his friends, and his girlfriend Anita Wood was with him. She was just a lovely lady.
Elvis had a tendency to kind of just drop in on your family. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he would.
And while he was there, and this is one of the parts that I'm so excited to tell your family story. I mean, some people know about it, but I just love sharing with these fans that you guys have home movies with Elvis.
Yes,
and
we
we have a few of those. Let's roll this first one here and see what we have. Looks like I saw that hat.
This was the very first time that Elvis had visited us. And this was, I was just a little, you'll see me, I was just a little bitty thing. And what I remember most about this evening, because I was so young, was that there were all these people in the house. It was late at night. There was smoke in the air, there were people just everywhere in the house. And it was after one of Elvis's concerts in Waco. Daddy had gone to the stage door and said, I'm friends with Elvis. And they go, yeah, sure you are. And he goes, no, I really am. And he goes, go get him and he'll, tell you. So Elvis came to the store, side door, stage door, and said, come on back. So after the show, he and his band came to our house.
Yeah, and that brings us to our next, I'm not sure the timeline, but
Okay.
I think we're Army now. Yeah.
This was the day Elvis had hurt his little finger, and you can see he has a bandage. And he goes, yeah, I can't do the job today. I've hurt myself. So he was still in uniform. All his buddies were in uniform. Anita was with him. And my mom had put out some little snacks for people, cheese and crackers and pickles and olives and just whatever she had. And there's, so pretty.
Well, he can't do Army work with a broken little finger, but everything else.
Oh, and there's my kiss.
Oh. I'd have that on a t-shirt.
Those are sweet pickles that Elvis was eating. And when he, my dad had his movie camera out. He goes, don't just sit there, y'all move. It's a moving picture. So that's why we waved. And then Elvis, kissed me. And his lips, I know this is weird to say.
Not here.
Hey, I was only 5 years old. Okay. His lips were like wet and cold from the cold pickle, the sweet pickle, and it felt kind of sticky. And so, you see, I put my shoulder up. It was like after I got off the camera, I wiped it off.
You lost the audience right there. You just lost the audience. I love your family story because he seems so comfortable knowing that there's a camera there and knowing and kissing Anita and kissing you and just safe with a normal family. I mean, there was a part of him, I think, that was very comfortable at a time that he must have been thinking, am I going to have a career when I come back? I mean, because there's
Am I going to have to what?
I'm sorry?
What did you say?
I said about having a career. He didn't know if he would still have a career when he came back. So there's a pressure on him, even as he's relaxing with you guys. Now, the next one of the world's greatest singers, if there's a piano in the room, this is going to happen.
Yes. Our piano was located right in front of our front door of the house. And we had no air conditioning then. It was springtime, so the front door was open, the back door was open so that some air would come through.
Wow.
And Elvis was sitting there playing the piano right inside of our house, just a few feet, from our front porch. And people in the neighborhood and people in Waco that knew that Elvis visited our home would watch for the cars to come park along the street. And when they saw them, they would start coming in from just everywhere, And so there were people that were sitting on the lawn listening to Elvis play. And then some of you may know that he added on a room or enclosed a room of our house. It was an old porte-cochere, which is like a carport back in the old days. Mm-hmm. And he enclosed that to make a little private area for Elvis. And kids would come from all over Waco and climb up on that roof because it was a flat roof, and they'd like stop and try to get in the windows and see in the house, and it was crazy. We had to unlist our phone number.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, next up, let's go to your den.
Okay. Pink and black were Elvis's favorite colors at the time, so
Yep.
Those are the colors that Daddy used to decorate the little room I was just telling you about. And he always had Elvis's favorite cigars there for him to smoke. I think they were little Tipperillo type of thing, yeah. You can see the picture of Elvis in the background and my father as a DJ in the middle.
That looks like the hat that they bought in Dallas all those years before. Uh-oh. You can see his finger really well all wrapped up. The interesting thing about your family is this story was almost kind of unknown, except I guess just locally, you know, to people there. Tell us about your website and the Elvis House.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, the house that Elvis visited in Waco, my brother owns it, and we have turned it into a bed and breakfast. And I tried to go back in and furnish it, you know, in the 50s, 60s style as much as I could, and repainted the pink and black den back to pink and black, and staged it with furniture the way it was when Elvis was there. And so my brother rents it out on Airbnb. It's in Waco. We call it the Elvis House, and it's the elvishouse.com. You can read about it.
Yeah, it's a wonderful website. You have little clips and news stories and clippings about it and photos. And I'm going to be in Waco in a month or so. There's an Elvis festival coming to Waco.
Yes,
I don't know
in
if you know
October.
about it. Yes.
Right.
So be on the lookout.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you come over to the Elvis festival and tell your story there. We've got some Elvis fans. So look out, Waco. We're on the way.
Right.
One more clip I've got right here is this little birthday cake.
Yes. We didn't get to celebrate Elvis's birthday on his birthday, but when he was visiting during his time at Fort Hood, we decided we would have a birthday cake for him. And so you can't see it very well because it's really old footage, but there's Elvis playing the guitar and a little hound dog at the bottom. So.
And one more shot. I love this picture of the two of them together, your dad and Elvis. We have that? We'll edit this part out. There it is.
All right. After Elvis was out of the Army, Daddy visited him at Graceland a couple of times and stayed in the mansion. And this was one of those visits with Elvis.
Wow.
In the early 60s, I think it was 60 or 61.
So he still remembered your dad, still remembered your family, and just remembered what your dad had done for him.
Yes.
You know, that was the part that I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
You
coming
are so
here
welcome.
to tell your story. Janice Fadal and her dad, Eddie. Don't forget Eddie. And you've got a book. Oh, say that?
You can order the book on our website if you like, and we'll autograph it and send it to you.
There you go. Thank you. Janice.